So show us this Aussie CAD idea that you had.
Yeah, so it was a few days ago. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. And so it was at 0.92. So technical wise, I had a double fib level. So we had the fib from this high down to this low here. And then we had the more minor one, which is in red from this high to this low. And you can see here that they lined up pretty nicely, the more major 23, which I don't use a ton, but I find when the market's trending really well, then it can be pretty effective since we might not always get that retracement up to the 38. And then we did have the more minor 38. So we had those two, as well as this green moving average is the 200 EMA and the blue is the 100. So we had those as well, the round number at 0.92. And I'm not sure if there was anything on the weekly time frame. I don't believe so. But that alone gave me, yeah, we might have had these moving averages might not have actually been there at the time. So I think that was about 4 confluences on the daily. And so that kind of gave me the confidence to take it. And it worked out pretty nice.
So where exactly? So you shorted at the 23.6 there, like it's right on that wick back up to into that region.
Yeah, exactly. So I believe my pending was actually set right at 0.92, so in case we didn't actually come all the way up to the 23. So I set my pending here, and fortunately this one did very little drawdown, and it dropped rather quickly. And I thought it paired nicely with what stocks were doing as well. So if you don't mind, I can show you what I
Sure.
was looking at.
Yeah.
So I've been watching this zone on US 30 for a while, and it's been interesting to see how well it's been respected. So we've kind of been consolidating since mid-March, and then we finally got this breakout out of this box, and we retested it perfectly. And so when we were retesting and we came up to the 38 fib, I thought that this was going to be a perfect opportunity for potentially for stocks to drop again, which would then support the drop in the Aussie dollar in terms of a risk off sentiment. So that's actually what ended up happening perfectly. So I'm happy with how that trade went.
Very nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Aussie CAD, an interesting pair for that, but I guess that it does make sense if you think the two economies there. You got Australia and Canada, Canada being the bigger one. Generally speaking, risk off, for those of you guys who are not familiar, it's usually going to lend towards people wanting to buy the safer of the two assets. If you're talking about pairs, if you're talking about currency pairs specifically, and then things like gold are up in the air depending on what's happening with the dollar. But stocks generally uniformly will fall in a risk off environment. So kind of cool to see that you're combining your idea with US 30, the stock market, with those currency pairs to actually place trades on, which is awesome. What are your thoughts on? So you mentioned that the euro has been sold off like crazy. So you're probably not looking to touch that right now, or do you have any opinions on the euro dollar or the euro pairs?
Yeah, so I guess we have been getting somewhat of a retracement. We had this super steep drop. This is euro versus the New Zealand dollar, and then euro versus the Aussie. So we have gotten a little bit of a retracement, and it looks like the 38 was a good area to sell. Fortunately, I didn't actually take this trade, so not that enticing to me. The one setup that I do have that I think is pretty interesting. I know you had looked at pound yen in the previous live stream. I'm looking at the 61 area, which coincides really nicely with this key level at 157.8. So depending, I think the drop, if we do drop, it will really depend on again what stocks do. So if we see a stronger yen with stocks continuing to drop, or if stocks re-enter that consolidation zone, we might not actually see it hit. But I do think that if we come down 157.8 could be a nice area to buy, especially for more of a swing style trade.
Mm. Yeah, that's definitely a pretty clean like retest level. If you look left, you've got several
Yeah.
tops there that we broke out of. Massive in your case, blue candle there on the break. So I would generally say that that's a pretty solid buy zone as well.
Yeah.
Of course, like you said, it's kind of dependent on a stock market drop at this point with the yen. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've been buying stocks. My approach when it comes to stocks is like longer term, just buying stuff that I
Me
like,
too.
holding on to it. I bought things like PayPal, Netflix, Nvidia. So I'm buying some of the
Tesla. Any Tesla?
I've owned Tesla. I actually have don't mean to brag. My average entry price on Tesla is $99 that I put
No way.
$7,000 on. Yeah.
Oh, so
So
you can hold forever.
yeah, so I'm in. I mean, granted, it dropped from like 1,200 to 800. So like that haircut still was a
It
massive
makes a
slide.
difference for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just saw a notification this morning that more SEC filings showed that I think Musk has now sold up to $8 billion worth of Tesla shares. So I think I don't own any Tesla, but
Mhm.
I don't know how justified that stock drop is. Like people are definitely spooked that more of his attention will be going towards Twitter, and that he's selling some of his shares. But I think it could be a good buying opportunity if you are bullish on Tesla.
I tend to agree, and I want a
Yeah,
car like that someday. So
yeah,
maybe when I'm not so broke trading all the time.
yeah. We need a few more live streams.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll probably the other thing about having a Tesla, just as a side note, is you gotta have a place to charge it consistently, and,
That's true.
the other thing, we go full circle, I'm looking to eventually buy a house, but not right now. Still living in a nicer apartment, but, longer term, I'd like to buy a house, but the housing prices are so high. So it's kinda
I
like
know.
trading coming into the real world, because it's like, if interest rates go up and mortgage rates go up, that could potentially pull houses down. Maybe that's an option to potentially buy something. I don't know. We can
My
go in
fingers
circles.
are crossed too. Yeah, housing prices are super expensive. I'm in Montreal, and also they're really
Yeah.
expensive. I feel like they're just expensive across the board. So hopefully those higher interest rates, they're making trading a little bit more difficult, but if it does bring the housing prices down, it could be helpful.
It definitely could, for sure. So, Matt, outside of the pound yen, are there any other
Yes.
trades that you're looking at, like going into next week? Is there anything that's kind of like on the radar for you?
We had the Aussie CAD short. I was also looking at Aussie Swiss franc, which I think is actually a better pair to trade than Aussie CAD. I know we had mentioned how I combine stocks with the Aussie CAD short, but I don't think it's the best pair because both the Australian dollar and the Canadian dollar are kind of risk off currencies. So I do follow oil quite closely to track the Canadian dollar. All that to say is I think Aussie Swiss franc is a pretty good pair to trade because when things are positive, it'll move higher, and when things are negative, the Swiss franc will gain some strength. So I was looking at the 50 fib area here, just below 0.68. It looks like this 100 moving average is now going to be above the zone, so that makes it a little bit less ideal for me. I was looking at the 61 as well, so just above 0.67, the round number as well, but it again looks like these moving averages are moving above the zone. So for me, that's one or two less confluences and makes me a little less confident in the trade.
Hmm.
So these setups might not actually come to fruition, but that's something that I was looking at. What do you think about this pair?
Aussie Swiss. So I am long CAD Swiss, which is to some degree kind of correlated, just from a risk on versus a risk off asset. So I have a long trade right now on CAD Swiss, which is also sort of benefiting from what you mentioned on oil. So kind of a little bit different, but I think that in terms of the Swiss franc, I don't know. I think that stocks, I'm betting right now that they've bottomed. They might not have bottomed, but right now I've got stops in place in case I'm wrong about that. But I think that stocks have potentially found a bottom. We are seeing, what's the stock market doing today? SPX 500. Stock market kind of mixed right now, but I'm looking to see if maybe next week we can have a continuation of this finding of a bottom. But we'll see. A
Yeah,
higher low would be
absolutely.
nice.
It would be nice. Yeah, I was worried when we got this daily candle here that we were set to come all the way back down to the lows of February,
Hmm.
February and March. But the last 2 days we have had a little bit of that, momentum to the upside. So it'll be really interesting to see. I do think that this consolidation zone is super helpful. So if we close back inside of it, then I think that could be a case to be bullish. But yeah, in terms of trades that I'm looking at, I'm really any swing trades, especially, I'm really waiting to see the kind of momentum that we see either to the upside or the downside with stocks to kind of develop my bias.
Interested in seeing our trades live as they happen? By joining the A1 Trading Discord, you'll get a notification every time one of our traders enters a position. Each trade we share comes with an entry price, a stop loss, and most importantly, a full breakdown of why the trade was taken. Learn alongside our experienced traders, join our active chat room, and ask your questions in our coaching webinars. Between our team of active traders, we trade Forex pairs, commodities like gold and oil, crypto, and stocks. By joining the group, you'll be able to keep up with all of it. Sign up today using the link in the description, and don't forget to use our promo code listed below for a special subscriber discount. Thanks for watching, and see you inside.